Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is 12-inch PvPenis, and this is another guide for Infinite Galaxy. If you guys don't already know, I am a sponsored creator, and I stream every single day at 0 UTC, aka Reset. If you guys are watching this video right now, it means that I am currently live, so you guys should hop on over. So, hey, this is a crew guide for the brand new crew update that just came out. This is just going to be some basics alongside some captain information that I thought might be useful. Right off the bat, the things that you guys should be focusing on in this game, as with many other games of this same genre, is going to be building speed, research speed, energy recovery, and warship production speed in that order. So the very first thing you want to focus on is building speed, because getting those buildings out to higher tiers is going to lead you to get better gear, which will help you progress in the campaign, and that's a lot of your early progression. Right? After that, you're going to want to be focusing on research speed, because that lets you get higher tiers, and again, that's your early progression. Energy recovery is going to give you materials, resources, and experience you're going to get from energy, and then warship production speed for obvious reasons. So something I'll say is the reason why it's in this order is because energy recovery is pretty important, but not nearly as important as building speed or research speed, and warship production speed really isn't going to be a factor until later in the game. If you're speeding up and building earlier tiers of units, you're kind of shooting yourself in the leg, and so, that's something that I would advise against very early in the game. So, in terms of the trees over here on the right side, I know a lot of people actually don't notice these at all, but this is probably the most important part of your commanders up until you start leveling them up later. So, what you want to focus on is not the combat tree, not the tech tree, maybe the logistics tree a little bit, and just all the command tree essentially. So the tech tree is going to give you warship build speed, so this might be important later on. The logistics tree, what's important here for me, is going to be the energy recovery. The repair costs are also kind of nice, but the energy recovery is going to be paramount, especially early game. The combat tree, should largely be ignored until you're really at a place to fight, which isn't really viable early game. You should be looking to just grow as fast as you can. So in the command, obviously, I prioritize spaceport construction speed, and then I prioritize research speed, and then I prioritize energy recovery. For obvious reasons that I just stated, it's why you want to go down the command tree, because it just gives you a bunch of research speed, energy recovery, and building speed. So focus on the command tree. Pretty easy. There's no real rocket science going down here. As you swap out different commanders that aren't staff officers, that don't give you a lot of command points, you can try considering what you'd like in combat. For example, if you're running cruisers, you can buff up your cruisers, buff up your armor, your shields, depending on what you're looking for. However, this is kind of a guide for another day. In terms of crew, you should really just be focusing on your growth mechanics, especially early game. So in terms of your crew itself, the crew that give command points or the yellow points are called staff officers. Laura, which is one of the first staff officers you get, if you spend any amount of money in the game, you get her immediately. She's pretty good, and she also gives you a research bonus. So as a staff officer, she is one of the first places that I put some XP. Now, you shouldn't get her to level 15 off the bat. You should level up all of your staff officers that you're going to be running in your main lineup about equally, because as they level up, they get more points. Because legendaries are so hard to level up at the end points, you actually get diminishing returns, even though you might see 49 command points here. The amount of XP it took me to get her to level 15 was absolutely ludicrous. Right? So if I had reinvested this in the rest of my staff officers, I might be looking at a higher energy recovery rate, or I might be looking at another tick of building speed or something like that. So there's definitely issues with the way I approach this, and you guys don't have to approach it the same way. As you guys see here, the buffs that I chose are research speed, spaceport construction speed, warship building speed, energy recovery, dispatch total, things that are not combat related, but utility based, right? Utility is definitely how I approach this game. And this is kind of like a lazy tree, because realistically, the only time that you need all the spaceport construction speed stacked up is right before you click a spaceport construction, right? So me just having this on at all times is lazy of me, and I could currently, because I'm not clicking anything, have exclusively my combat up. That's something that you can do if you're really interested in early game micro optimizations. Late game, of course, that is just how you're going to have to act, especially when you go to fight. However, early game, especially if it's rather peaceful, there's no real reason to just pull everybody out, because you're just going to put them back in anyway, especially because some of the researches are just a couple hours. Finally, we're going to cover captains. Of course, this update brought in captains, which are pretty cool positions that you can put on your flagships. So legendaries and epics only, sadly. I know you guys got those blue commanders and those green commanders that are probably level 15 already, but yeah, you can't man them. In terms of captains, you want to put a captain on the ship that is suitable to the ship. This seems rather obvious, but for example, if I'm running kinetics on the Brontez and I'm running all kinetic cruisers, then obviously I'm not going to put Helen on this because that wouldn't make any sense. However, if I was running laser destroyers or if I was running laser cruisers, this would make much more sense, especially because you'll have her at such a decent level so early on. Another thing you have to note is some commanders will have a crew skill of something that would be useful on a flagship. However, their captain info skill is actually different. So if you guys want to check that out, just go to your assigned crew page and then go to this tab up here that says captain info. So Zhen Wenzhou is the easily my biggest culprit of that because her crew skill for dispatch mastery is rather good, and I would love to have that on my Brontez. However, if I made her captain of my ship, I would get engine optimization, and that's obviously something I wouldn't want. So you want to make sure that the people that you are putting onto your ship wouldn't really be useful in your crew array for combat and aren't really applicable to other ships. So although that Molly Mayer here is going to give warship structure and laser cluster, and she would be useful on some laser ships, because she also has warship building speed as a deputy skill, you wouldn't want to just put her on any warship because you'd have to pull her off and then you'd have to spend corium in order to put her back on if you wanted to do it again. So you want to put on somebody that you're not going to put on your main lineup that you don't need to be switching around a lot. I currently don't have anybody that really fits that profile because I don't have any kinetic commanders, sadly. When I find a kinetic commander, assuming they're not a staff officer, I'm probably going to put them on my Brontez. Right now I have it empty because honestly, I don't need 1.7% of stats. Nothing is that close right now, and I've already finished the campaign. That's my take on it. Of course, as we move down the game, captains are going to be more important. If you guys are running lasers, again, I would just slap on Helen immediately. There's no reason to keep her on her crew since she only gives a laser weapon attack, and because you can't put on blues and greens on your ships, you'd have to put her on your ship and then fill up your combats with the blues and greens, which you've already leveled up pretty far. That's going to be it for this guide. If you guys enjoyed the guide, be sure to drop a follow or a sub, hit that like button, hit that notification bell, and drop a little comment down there if you liked the video and what you would like me to do next. If you guys are watching this video right now, we are currently live on YouTube, so you guys should go over and check that out. And if you guys want to message me while I'm offline or find out notifications for when I go online or updates on when I'm going online, the best place to find me is the Discord in the description below. Have yourselves an absolutely wonderful day, and I'm out.